Happy Saturday, everyone. Make sure you have signed the petition and also share the petition at change.org/Shanquella. That's change.org/Shanquella. So make sure you have already signed and shared the petition. Today, we are basically going to go over an update for Shanquella that I left off on, I think, Thursday, when I was making calls to different people about the provisional arrest or different things I was discussing, basically trying to apply pressure. So basically, I'm going to update on the email I received, and also I'm going to discuss Malik Dyer as well and one of his sources of income. Okay. I previously discussed it already that he is, but basically I am going to go into more detail about that source of income and what's upcoming. So yeah, make sure you go ahead and sign a petition at change.org/Shanquella. That's change.org/Shanquella. Okay, let me change this setup. Okay, so basically, if you recall the other day, I was talking to Internal Affairs about Daniel De La Rosa Naya. Basically, I wanted a contact email address for him. I already have published email address for him before, but he never really responds to that email address. I'm sure he gets his email because obviously it's his email address. However, I wanted a different way to respond to him or contact him, should I say. So I called this number and then they gave me their email address. And from there, they messaged me that a better contact information is for me to contact a different attorney for Baja California Sur. So let me go ahead and show you that information. So as you can see, here's an email from that OIC. If you do not know what I'm talking about, you have to watch my last Shanquella video to catch up, okay? We discussed this already about the OIC and this email address. Okay, basically the email states, you are contacting the Internal Affairs Area of the Baja California Sur Mexico State General Attorney. Our work is to investigate when there are omissions or irregularities within a criminal proceeding committed by a public servant of our institution. If you want to file a complaint against a public servant, we are the right area. But if you want to know the procedural status of a criminal investigation, you will have to contact the Attorney General's office directly. Their contact number for calling from USA is this number right here. I think I've already zoomed in as big as I can pretty much get it. Okay. And then the email address gave me two email addresses. Now, the first email address is something, when I copied and pasted, it didn't work, but actually when I found a different email address, it actually worked. So I guess it was some kind of spacing error or something here. But pretty much these emails do work. Well, once you fix something that's off on that first one. And then there's the phone number. The phone number, I have no idea what's going on with that phone number, but I did call a different number for that same office because he said if you are calling from outside of U.S., call that number. But I called the one for Mexico directly because that one I could not figure out. Okay, so basically he's saying that office is for if you want to file a criminal, not criminal, if you want to file a complaint against a public servant for something they have done themselves, like if they have done a criminal act, corruption or some kind of corruption or something that they have done themselves, that you want to file a complaint against public servant. So in some ways, twist this into where they want to file a complaint against him not doing what he's supposed to do in his line of work or something else, but it's more like internal affairs, more like a criminal way that he's done something criminal for it. And I'm talking about Daniel De La Rosa Naya. So I was only emailing if he had applied for, I had done the process for a provisional arrest, which I discussed in my last live. So he referred me to the Attorney General's office directly, and he said, but on the procedural status of a criminal investigation, you would contact this office. So that's why I contacted the other office. And so let's go to the other one. And okay, pay attention now, because this is the email address right here. S particular, and then it says at PGJE, and then at the bottom it says subprocu something. So I basically Googled this email where I can what it's all about and what it's for. Found this information. And as you see, number 3 is Attorney General's Office, Justice of the State of Baja California, sir. And if you scroll across, it says Graduate Maria of Carmen Flores Acevedo, and says Legal Deputy Attorney and Protection. So that's the department. And then it has a new number of 612-122-1752. I called that number. I didn't get an answer. Okay. But that's basically what email he said to contact. And that's for Baja California, sir. And that's the legal deputy attorney of who will handle any like legal aspects. So that's the department. So that is a more better department to what I needed and what I wanted to address. Okay. So I did go ahead and send emails to all 3. And here are the 3 email addresses right here to the right. So if you actually want to email, I'm going to actually send this out in an email on the petition. So you don't have to actually copy these down. I'm going to actually add this to the petition tonight. And so people can email this directly to apply pressure to the legal department of Baja California, sir. And that is in the office where Daniel De La Rosa Naya works. Okay. So that's a good email address, contact information to apply pressure to this department, because they are the ones, like I said, in the legal department for that Baja California, sir. Right. And then the phone number as well, no call. And then I also called the U.S. Like the embassy for Mexico, like to USA, and nothing really happened with that. And also with that's Ken Salazar, and also Victor Castro. Obviously, you're not going to be able to reach a lot of these high officials, but you can still call these numbers and try to apply pressure by just by having a lot of phone calls and complaints is actually applying pressure either way. But the best pressure is to apply it directly to the main people, and that would be Daniel De La Rosa Naya. I have his email. I also have Victor Castro's email, and I also have Ken. So those email contacts are better sometimes than a phone call if you can't reach the direct person. Okay, so this is directly to the legal department for Baja California, sir. And then I also have Daniel De La Rosa's Anaya. So now y'all have plenty of emails to get a hold of these people in Mexico. And then the other emails on here are for the different areas. Like this is like number 2 is state Lower California. So this won't apply. This would be for a different area. And actually this person right here works on a different case, but that's another topic. Okay, so let's go ahead and move into Malik, but let me go ahead and okay. One moment while I pull up the video for Malik. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about Malik, switch back to Shanquella and Bruce Redman. Bruce Redman he killed his wife in Mexico. He fled back to United States. And then in Mexico did the same kind of thing they're doing right now with Daejhanae. So at the end of the live, I'm going to switch back over to Shanquella, talking about comparing Daejhanae with Bruce Redman in more detail than I did before. Okay. So this live will be kind of long, depending on how long it takes me to get through Malik part. Okay. 1 second. And also by now, everyone should have signed the petition already. I don't know if I have mods here or not because I'm not checking now. Yeah, everyone should have signed and shared the petition. But yeah, for Malik, it looks like there's an event coming up tomorrow, but his name is not directly on it, but I'll tell you how in just a moment. Wait 1 second. I'll tell you just a moment how he's connected, possibly connected to it, should I say. Hey, Stephanie. Yes, I see the swords are dropping. I need to actually make a video on my main channel as well. I've been neglecting that channel. Well, it hasn't been too long, but I definitely want to make a video on that channel soon. Okay, is everyone getting their notifications? I know last live people were saying they were not getting notifications. Is everyone getting notifications? Did you get a notification for this live? If you actually go to the subscribe button and you actually click the little drop down, it'll give you an option to um, set all notifications to all. That way you won't miss a live. Because I know some people miss a live because they don't have it set to all. They have it to whatever the other option is. Why is this not working? You know, I actually should do this before I go live. I'm trying to share this to my Twitter. Just a second. Because I know sometimes people don't get it. So I share it to my Twitter. And then I also share it to my page. But yeah, Malik, you cannot dance. You cannot dance. You need to have a seat. And it's interesting. I'll have to show y'all in a minute. Wait. Okay, Malik actually surrounds himself a lot of times with people he grew up with, and these people he grew up with all kind of like are club promoters. Not all of them, but a lot of them were like they're like partners in like promoting clubs and events and things like that. And they kind of like promote each other's events and like share each other's events. Even like Malik's sister, she's into that as well, like club promotions and things like that. And then it's more of like reggae kind of like it's kind of like the vibe you would get if you were visiting Jamaica, and it's kind of like that kind of club. They like to be outside and doing like the Jamaica, like having the Jamaican experience, right? Um, and yeah, a lot of times when he has events, a lot of people actually show up to these events. It's not like you go there and it's dead. At first, like when you the video, it might be like a, but it kind of like daylight out. By the time night comes, he actually has quite a few people at these events. He has. So I basically think that he isn't really putting his name on flyers, but he might still be getting money by through his friends because they are kind of like partner up. And something called Edgewater. Like a group of them are like even including Malik's sister. They're like they call themselves like the Edgewater crew. And that's why you had Malik like Jubs Water, and then you have other people with the last name Water, like WATA. It's a group of people, and they all do like club promotions, right? So this picture is kind of older right here of him with some of the people, and then you'll see some of these same people, especially the guy in the back with the cap on his head. You'll see him later on as well in other parts of this live. Okay, let me switch to my other main channel. And then some of the pictures are obvious, like friends hanging out. You'll catch like, you know, like sometimes your friends might take a picture of you sleeping or doing something like that. So it's different kind of pictures I'm going to be showing. And basically it's all going to just show you like his club promotion, like lifestyle. You all know people that do club promos and things like that and what they kind of do. I'm gonna play a little bit of what I have, and then after that, I will go over some of the comments, okay? Because I'm already running a little late into the live. Again, these are some of his crew, especially the guy in the back with the hat. These are people he hang out with, and a lot of them do club promos. Like even from way back, maybe like 2017, they've been doing club promo. Yeah, and even to now, and at some of the same venues, right? Again, it's the same guy. A lot of times, this is like one of the people that he's always with. So this person definitely would know a lot about him, right? A lot of his events are, like I said before, like events that he calls Supercharge. And right here, of course, this is like the crew. And they actually made a post about how they're like the Edgewater crew. And what I'm going to say about this was when they keep calling themselves Edgewater crew, later on when I show a flyer for an event tomorrow, it will say it's hosted by blank, and then it will say and Edgewater. Ooh, right. I see all these old posts and even new posts calling themselves Edgewater crew, including Malik into the tags. And then later on, I see a new event for tomorrow, January 29th, and it says hosted by Edgewater, right? So I'm thinking he might not be putting his exact name on the brochures and flyers right now. That's like club promo flyers, but he's probably still involved through his affiliation with Edgewater. And his sister is also in that whole thing with them too. She does it. So yeah, this video is just a lot of times I'm just showing like pictures and some videos, also videos at the events, because I know a lot of people say, well, he does club promo, right, and events, but we never really see him at those events. Well, I'm going to show some events today, like some videos and pictures. So yeah, I can go through the chat while playing the slide. And like if you go to each other's, like each page, like Facebook, people like they'll share each other's events. Obviously, like if you're having your event Saturday, why not? I'll share your event that you're having Sunday, like that. So then they can like promote it. Hey Billy, sweet Capricorn. Hey, make sure y'all sign in. April Showers, hey girl. The Lee Watts.
Let's go.
Okay, that's in the black shirt right there. The cap. Walking over. To me, right there, it looks like he thought that some kind of problem was happening with her that girl. I think that he thought they were arguing or about to fight, or he just trying to check on what's going on with them, right? So he went over there and like to me, that's what I get from it, that he went over there to check to see if there's something going on. And you see how he did that. So let me go ahead and rewind that back. And it's interesting how he can do that, right? But when it came to Shanquella, he didn't intervene or step up or anything, right? But obviously we know that he said Daejhanae is one of his BFFs. And remember, she's also Daejhanae's family origins are from Jamaica too. So both of them have origins in Jamaica. And I'm also noticing a lot of people from there. And then it's out there in like Connecticut now, right? Yeah. So let me go back. So that's him. Pay attention to him, okay? That's him. Wait. See those two girls right there? There's a girl right there with a drink. Drink? Let's see. Where is it? Let me go ahead and back. Okay, wait.
Let's go.
Okay, see that? You saw that? Like the two girls, like one girl was wearing the all blue and the other girl was like facing the other way, and then she turned back around, and then he comes over. So
let's go. We outside the supercharge. Everybody with a vibe. Come on. Why? Yo, what up, why with the friendly? Let's go.
And he's right there again. The girl wearing the supercharged, like, and then he's following behind her. So that's it for that video part. I'm just showing you how he kind of like intervened or like trying to check on this girl and what was going on with that, like make sure there was no fight or no confrontation at his event. And then he left, and then he went back on stage, and after that he went back into the crowd or whatever with that one chick. So anyway, these are event flyers, and as you can see through these flyers, well, you might not be able to see, but a lot of these flyers are at the same event venues. Okay, so, and as you can see on that one, it says hosted by Edgewater. And some of these events were like kind of recent. It's kind of like Edgewater, and Edgewater is that crew of people. Jubs Water, remember his Instagram and other thing is Jubs Water, and there's another person. There's other people with the, you know how on Facebook people might change their last name to something else and they might match, right? So there's a crew of people with the name Water, like WATA, and then it says Edgewater, like group of people, right? So yeah, these are some more pictures. Hey Kiva. Hey Panther Queen, Tina, Richard, Genuine Woman, Sharita, Marie. Guys, hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that like button now. Come on now. Y'all can at least hit that like button. I'm giving y'all some entertainment. Please hit the like button. Yes. Yes, auntie. Yes. Hey, Raw. Yeah, I'm trying my best to keep up with this. I'm moving by one person to see for a living, right? Or for income. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, Storm. You got notification? Yes, I'm glad. Okay, so y'all got notifications today. Yeah, I went ahead. Okay, this right here is, I don't know if it was a joke or not, but this chick that he had that had some videos of him, she was just saying like, have we ever slept together or blah blah, and they were just going back and forth. I don't know if it was a joke or not, but I just added it because I'm nosy and I was just seeing going back and forth between their pages. But yeah, it was saying, I guess yeah,
he was one of the producers behind various seasons.
Okay, why is this in here? Wait 1 second. Oh, I switched over. I was like, how the heck? I know. Yeah, stop lying to that damn man. I can merch. We've after the day after y'all's 7-month anniversary too. Oh, I think they was playing. Bro, I'm gonna ask you again. Can you say no so I can screenshot? Okay, Malik, did we ever fuck? Yes, bye. So I think they're just joking. Anywho, hey Arnitrez. But anyway, I went back and forth between the pages. That's how I got from this video. Okay, this video, they just was celebrating his birthday. I think that one girl, I can't remember. Thanks for sharing, Cuba. Yeah, hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. And also sign the petition. That's the main thing I need y'all to do is sign and share the petition, because tonight I will be sending out an email with people I need y'all to contact. Okay. The attorney number I posted needs to be called, and also the email I posted needs to be emailed. Here's another one. This is actually one of the look at the crowd. There's a lot of
on the project, fuck around with the time. Fuck a Maserati, my bitch. She found my blood, let me go and be. Could be the last spot, could be the last spot, could be the last spot. In the kitchen, women that double. Pop a kitchen, we gon' hit it like we say so. Put that Billy to the limit, you can shut up. Billy bitches, I ain't you know what I do.
About all of them in that video.
Street money.
So let me go back a second. Okay, on this one, as you can see, he actually comes out from behind the DJ booth area, right? Hold on. Not that one.
That's TikTok. And no, we talk that TikTok. $10 million cash, fuck a friend. Gotta keep that heat on the CD. You know we talk that TikTok. I'm gonna put this cash up on the new talk. On the new talk. I understand that because you too far.
Yeah, but see, like this Christian, right?
On the project, fuck around with the time. Fuck a Maserati, my bitch. She found my blood, let me go and be. Could be the last spot, could be the last spot, could be the last spot. In the kitchen, women that double. Pop a kitchen, we gon' hit it like we say so. Put that Billy to the limit, you can shut up. Billy bitches, I ain't you know what I do.
Street money.
Yes, a lot of them are
street money.
So let me go back. This is like some chick, like, and she claims like to be his, but she keeps on like doing weird stuff to give me vibes that she was smashed based on her pictures and her vibe and these pictures and videos. But anyways, I cut her out. But this is him. This is her like videotaping him like on the
street
bed.
Money. Street money.
This is her again videotaping him. Like she does this a lot. clarify because I don't want this to spread as I don't want misinformation to spread. This is old footage of Malik. This is old. It's not new. I don't have any new videos of Malik out and about. Okay. I said I'm showing right now, I'm just showing his lifestyle of being a club promoter, his bag. Look at the title, it says Malik's bag. So please don't think that this is new videos of them out partying, having fun, and doing everything. Oh, wait. He could be because it's Connecticut. I don't know what he's doing in Connecticut. Because keep in mind, okay, let me go back. First of all, these are old videos that I'm showing. This is not current footage. However, as a club promoter and there's an event tomorrow, and I'm noticing that some flyers still had Edgewater on it. He's a part of Edgewater. Chances are he might still be in Connecticut because there's not a lot of people in Connecticut, right? So I don't know. Right. So I'm just making sure that's clarified. Yeah, so like I said, this is not him now. I don't know what he's doing now. He could be going to clubs still like doing promo. I don't know. Unless someone goes to that. If there's an event tomorrow in Connecticut with Edgewater on it, right? The group he belongs to goes there and sees him, then they can verify that he's there. But Connecticut is different, obviously, from North Carolina. In North Carolina, if he was over there with everyone else, he'll probably be spotted more often, but he's in Connecticut, so that's different.
What's wrong with you?
You the police.
Flash a light when I'm driving like you. What's wrong with you? You the police? What's wrong with you?
You the police.
Flash a light when I'm driving like you.
Mine, I gonna kill them.
All the girl never know say you know hate that girl. That's the way she is. We have the other again. Somebody.
What's wrong with you? You the police? What's wrong with you?
You the police.
Flash a light when I'm driving like you. What's wrong with you? You the police? What's wrong with you?
You the police.
Flash a light when I'm driving like you.
Mine, I gonna kill them.
All the girl never know say you know hate that girl. That's the way she is. We have the other again. Somebody. Some of them girl you sell them little 2,000 and 3,000 what them having the money in our account and the money.
Yeah, these are old videos. Yeah, I just had to clarify because I don't want there to be misinformation. However, like I said, I will show you in a minute. There is an event tomorrow with Edgewater, and he's actually a part of that group, Edgewater. So he still could be getting money through that affiliation. I think I'll zoom in right here. Hold on. No, it's not on here. I might doubt that highly favored because wait, let me go back. Thank you for caring and sharing and the videos and calls to get justice for Shanquella. We appreciate you so much. God remain blessed and safe out there. Yes. Yes, everyone remain safe and blessed this weekend and have a happy Saturday for those who are going out tonight. I don't think any of the Cabo are living their best life. They might be free for now, but trust they are hunted by Shanquella's death. They can't sleep, they can't eat. That requires you to have a guilty conscience and have remorse. A lot of those people might not have a guilty conscience or even remorse. As you saw, they actually covered it up, left Mexico, didn't give a damn about how her body would be returned to her family and everything else. Some also went back to work. So I surely doubt that they actually care. Actually going to show another case of Bruce Redman who murdered his wife and he was fine. He came back to United States, was living with his mistress and his 2 kids and his parents and going about his life. He didn't give one damn. So you expect, I don't expect everyone to care. Now there might be some in the group might have some kind of guilty conscience, but for the most part, most are trying to protect their own ass and they went back to work. Elise went back to work. Daejhanae had went back to work. The doctor had went back to work. Everybody. Hey, I don't want to use a name. Yes, I do think justice will come, but I think it will take longer, and I'm going to talk about that more at the end of this live. What I think. Yeah, I'm going to talk about more about how long it normally takes. Well, how long it took for the Bruce Redman case that I compare it to. It can take way longer than most of us would expect, even with a lot of evidence. So I'm going to discuss that after Malik. Hi, Dani. I trust you. What time? So you believe Shanquella died? There's no way really to know for certain, but no one really knows 100%. Wait, let me go over this really fast. So anyways, this is the event for tomorrow. It's January 29th, and it says 41 Veterans Drive, New Britain, Connecticut, and it's at the FW Club. Steamy Drum Birthday Bash, Day Ray, people please come out early. 2023, January 29, 2023, share. And actually, if you zoom into the event, it says Blood plus Edgewater. And again, Edgewater is the crew of people I mentioned before. And if you actually go, Malik's name before he was on Facebook, the Jubs Water. And then there were some other people with the Facebook Water, WAT at the end. And they all are a crew since when they were younger. So yeah, that's what makes me think that he's still doing club promotions, because even after Shanquella was murdered, he was still doing events. So I doubt he stopped doing events because that's his source of income, right? I think that he's still doing it, but doing it under the guise of the whole group, like Edgewater, because he's a part of that crew, right? So basically, I will probably all around to see if I can actually get some news or get some info on this to see if he's actually still a part of it. Most of these people are loyal to each other, so most people are not really going to talk about anything but probably if you word certain things a certain way. Let me stop talking because people might be watching because they might be searching for their name. I might have already said too much, but yeah, I'll just try some things tomorrow. I'll just leave it at that. Where is it? I'm trying to get a closer look. I don't know if you can see it, but it says Bloodline plus Edgewater right there. And these pictures, of course, you know how your friends or even family might try to take a picture of you while you're asleep or whatever. Hold on. So basically, yeah, no one really knows what time she passed away. However, my own opinion is that she was unresponsive when the doctor arrived and Nazir arrived. I think she was unresponsive. And at the time they arrived, I think that she had exactly what's on her death certificate, which is Atlas luxation. And Atlas luxation causes you to experience paralysis, to be paralyzed, like 100% paralyzed, where you can't even move, like from your neck and down, you can't move. You can hear like what's going on around you. You can see what's going on around you, but you cannot talk and you cannot move your body. So that's why she wouldn't be able to move or even speak, but she'll still be able to see, and she'll still show signs that she's alive, but she'll just be paralyzed. She can't move from the neck down. And the reason I say that is because that's what medical examiner stated, that when someone has Atlas luxation, they experience those symptoms. So I think that when Nazir arrived and the doctor arrived, that she had Atlas luxation symptoms, and the doctor came there trying to help her with alcohol poisoning, not realizing that she had Atlas luxation instead, which would require different medical treatment, a different care, and actually surgery, immediate surgery, to be able to survive. She went there trying to help her with alcohol poisoning. So that's what I think. So I do think that she died after the, I think also that the doctor harmed her more, because when the doctor was trying to treat alcohol poisoning, the things she was doing to Shanquella was actually damaging to her current condition of Atlas luxation. So the doctor probably made it worse, because she needs to have her neck and head healed stable and body heal more stable until surgery happens for Atlas luxation. But all those rounds of CPR and everything the doctor was trying to do to revive her or help her out was actually more trauma, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my opinion. Or anything else, that's what I pieced together. So no, I don't think that she was unalive. I think that she had Atlas luxation and she was paralyzed when Malik came. Rewind, Nazir came. And then he said he was like, probably like speak or say something, because she couldn't talk, but he probably saw her eyes were moving around, that she was still alive, but she wasn't talking or anything. And also that she wasn't even moving her body. But to me, like, that's where Nazir comes sketchy. Okay, I'm going to a different topic now, because he should have noticed other signs as well. But anyway, that's going into another thing. Okay, so anyways, this right here is not, so that's basically it for Malik. What you're seeing now on this shirt is actually one of Khalil's shirts, and I added a CM because when I saw this, baby, I was like, your auntie is being nice, because your auntie is being nice putting this shirt on, because Khalil, did I say, make sure I'm saying the right name? Khalil, this shirt with his company Cash Collection, right? Don't that look like a pre-K, like a gardener or somebody in preschool drew that? Like, look at that shirt. It's a hot mess. That's why his business was failing and sucking. He was like, in his post, like after Shanquella passed, he was like, he's going to miss getting business advice from her. I'm like, baby, you need to give that business up, because look at those, all his clothes and everything he was selling was straight up ugly. Straight up ugly and garbage, trash. Look at look at that Etch a Sketch shirt, and it's like, it seems like he just like super glued one of them glue sticks put on some letters, and it's like, I don't know, this is just a hot mess. What? I don't know. I swear, I'm like, everything I saw of his, go watch my other video, Cabo 6, and I show his clothes, baby. I know why those clothes was not selling. I bet that, I don't know how he was getting money, because I know nobody was really wearing these clothes. And I think the auntie said she got hers for free. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the second part of the video. Hey, Wanya, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate you, girl. Thank you so much. yeah, thanks you for supporting the channel. And also, if you cannot support through this, make sure you also just support for free by hitting that like button. Okay, so make sure you hit that like button, and also continue to sign the petition at change.org/Shanquella. That's change.org/Shanquella. So yeah, also if you're going to catch a replay, let me know your thoughts about what I said about Malik and his current, what he's probably still doing as his bag, because even after Shanquella was murdered, he was still having events. Okay, but he still had his name on those events, but now it switched from Jubb's Water to now it's in Edgewater. And he's a part of Edgewater, right? You know they watching. Yeah, trust me, I'll be watching too. But we'll see, because that's the only way you can really stop his bag is if you, one possibility is to contact the venues, like whoever owns the buildings that they're renting out, to make sure that Malik does not host the events. However, he can still be sneaky and host the event, like by just under someone else's name or booking, right? Number two is to spread more awareness about what he has done in Connecticut. Because believe me, I'm telling you, a lot of people don't know about Shanquella just because it's all over. We all know about it, and we expect everyone to know about it, but it's not as worldwide as most people would think about Shanquella. A lot of people still don't know about it. So if in North Carolina, more people would probably know about it than in Connecticut where he is. So more people in Connecticut need to probably spread awareness about Malik and his events over there, because actually in Connecticut, he seems to be well liked by go out and have club life. He's well liked. Okay. So someone well liked like that is probably why a lot of people are not going to come out and speak out against this person or say anything negative about this person, because to them, he's this calm, cool person at the club, chilling, that kind of vibe, right? Because think about it, a lot of people haven't came out and spoke out against some of these people, right? As we look into some of their life, you can see why some people might not be doing it, because they might, even like Dahmer, people like, oh my gosh, like I wouldn't think my neighbor would do that, or I wouldn't think my friend would do that. People don't have a different perception of their friend or neighbor affiliates. The nerve and audacity of the Cabo Six, I hope they do many years in prison. It is evil and definitely horrific what they did, still living and doing them all the while she's no longer here. Shaking my head, very sad. Yeah, these videos are old, but it's his most recent one was actually 2022. So his most recent one, he actually did an event. I can't actually remember the date, but after Shanquella's murder, he was still doing events. So my guess is he's still doing events because that's his income. Hit that like button. Yes, Hunter. Yes, Hunter. Yes. Hit that like button. Okay. The second part I'm going into now is for people that want to know, why is it taking so long for Daejhanae to be arrested? Like, what happens now? So basically, I'm going to go over Bruce Redman case. The Bruce Redman case is kind of similar to what's happening now as far as procedures and process and protocols goes. So that will actually give you kind of a hint of to why things might be taking long and why things might be even weird to us, right? Thank you, Wanya. Can you please put your pronunciation, because I don't want to actually, I would say Wanya, but some people say Wanya because of Wanda, right? So Wanya. Okay. Hey Keisha, sorry I was typing. Hey Tina. Okay, let me see. I think I said hey to everybody. Yeah, a lot of people think he looks creepy and weird. Hey Arnatraz. Looks like my 8-year-old grandson made that shirt. Child, that shirt is a mess. Okay, so that switches from a league. If you are just getting here, you have to catch a replay, or you can actually press rewind on the video and just be behind the video live.
His popular reality TV show. Now it's his real life that's being closely watched. You can't see him very well, but Bruce Beresford-Redmond is the one standing in the back of this group photo. His face is partially obscured. Mexican authorities say he has been detained as a person of interest in his wife's death. Her body was found Thursday in a sewer at this swanky resort in Cancun. That discovery came 2 days after he reported her missing.
When I found out last night that she had been missing for a few days. I went to God in prayer, and I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed.
Monica Barisford-Redmond owned this Los Angeles restaurant and night spot. Several people gathered outside Zabumba Thursday to mourn someone they say was a well-known and lovable figure in LA's Brazilian community.
She's gonna be very missed, and I can't believe that's her. And I hope he didn't do that, because I don't want to believe he doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
An official with the Attorney General's office says Barisford-Redmond told police Tuesday that his wife left the hotel to go shopping the day before and never returned. But a security guard at the hotel reportedly saw the couple arguing Monday night and said Barisford-Redmond tried to hit her.
The case is very premature right now for anybody to be making, comment in the case. But we just want to know what happened to Monica, and we hope that whatever happened there, somebody will tell us.
Investigators are running toxicology tests on the TV producer to determine if he consumed drugs on the night of the alleged argument. His wife's cause of death not determined. Brian Thomas, The Associated Press.
Okay, in that first clip, he was at the point where they found out that the wife had been killed, and they were trying to run toxicology on Bruce to make sure if he had been drinking or doing any kind of type of drugs the night his wife was killed or during that time period. Also, they were telling him that while they were running tests on her body, like forensics, that they wanted him to remain in Mexico, okay? And this was only a couple of days after Bruce Redman murdered his wife in April of 2010, okay? So instead of actually staying in Mexico, Bruce, he fled Mexico. They took his passport, but he still used his identification card to leave Mexico through the border, okay? So he used his ID, came back, and then 2 months later, they actually almost 2 months later, they issued a warrant for his arrest. Like they did Daejhanae when she came back to the United States, they issued a warrant for her arrest, right? Mexico did. So after the warrant was issued, he still was a free man walking around the United States, going to theme parks, going to the zoo with his kids, his mistress, and his parents. In America, a free man for 7 months, y'all, 7 months. So think about it. We are like, Daejhanae has a warrant for her arrest, so why isn't she arrested? He had a warrant for his arrest from Mexico too, and he was a free man in the United States for 7 months. The United States did not go to his house or bother him or anything. They were just investigating everything with Mexico. However, they did not do anything to him, even though he had a warrant in Mexico. So that's why I'm showing you this case to show y'all it's the same thing going on. The same thing. So this is at the point at the beginning where he murdered his wife and he's still in Mexico. And then I'm going to show you through this whole thing from the time he murdered his wife that we just watched till all the way until he's sent back to Mexico on extradition. And then I can show you and tell you, as I said in my last video, what changed or what happened. What's the difference between the two cases? Because he was eventually arrested before extradition. And that's where I'll get into later. I don't want to get too far ahead.
The family of the wife of a former Survivor producer found slain in Mexico blasted authorities there for not yet making an arrest in the case.
We want to know how it is possible that there has only been one suspect in this case since the day it happened, and yet he remains free in Mexico.
The suspect in question, the producer, Bruce Beresford-Redmond. His wife, Monica, was found dead in a sewer at an upscale resort in Cancun in early April.
The criminal is at loose and threatening the well-being of society. Justice needs to be made for her and her children. This is a great opportunity for the Mexican authorities to show that they are able to bring justice to a case that has so much evidence for an arrest to take place.
The victim's family has met with prosecutors and police several times. They think the process is taking too long. The prosecutor's office in Cancun says it still awaits DNA test results. Investigators have focused on Beresford-Redmond. He has not been charged, but is barred from leaving the country during the probe. John Moe, The Associated Press, Los Angeles.
There is.
So anyways, this is when they barred him from leaving Mexico. They said that you can't leave Mexico until forensics are done. The family was upset because they said he's a free man in Mexico. Why aren't you arresting him? It's obvious that he murdered my sister, our family, so arrest him. He's a free man in Mexico. So at this point, he's still in Mexico. Okay, he has not fled yet. Hey, Gloria.
Growing evidence that there were marital problems between a TV producer and his wife before she was found dead at a resort in Mexico. Prosecutors in Mexico announced Wednesday that they had met with the mother and sisters of Monica Barisford-Redmond, and the women showed authorities a series of exchanges that indicated problems in the couple's marriage. State prosecutors say that Bruce Barisford-Redmond is a suspect in the murder of his wife, Monica. Her body was discovered April 8th in a sewer at the Moon Palace Resort in Cancun, 2 days after Bruce said his wife failed to return from a shopping trip. Bruce Barisford-Redmond was the producer on the CBS show Survivor and the creator of Pimp My Ride. That's an MTV show. After Wednesday's meeting with prosecutors, the victim's sister told reporters, quote, "We have delivered more evidence," adding, "We are happy with the work authorities are doing to get justice for my sister." The victim's family says the marriage was crumbling as a result of a long-term affair Barisford-Redmond was having. He has not publicly commented on those reports. He is barred from leaving Mexico until the investigation is complete. Brian Thomas, The Associated Press.
So yeah, he was having an affair. And he also had gotten life insurance on his wife and children before, even like a month before he even went to Mexico.
The reality TV show producer accused of murdering his wife in Mexico. Bruce Beresford-Redmond slipped back into the United States without telling the Mexican authorities. So what happens now to the case? Here's ABC's Nir Kolinsky with more.
Even though Mexican authorities had seized his passport and considered him a person of interest in his wife's death in Cancun, TV producer Bruce Beresford-Redmond made his way home to Los Angeles this weekend.
I haven't seen him since they said that he was in Mexico. I haven't seen him at all.
But there was no sight of him at the house he used to share with his wife and 2 children in upscale Palos Verdes. It's been more than 6 weeks since his wife Monica was found dead at the Moon Palace Resort in Cancun, Mexico, while the couple was vacationing. His lawyer tells ABC News he has returned to Los Angeles County to be with his children and to attend to family and personal matters. He has been informed he has no legal obligation to remain in Mexico, pending an investigation into his wife's tragic death. Even though he hasn't been charged with a crime, Monica's sisters are petitioning for guardianship of the kids. Mexican law enforcement never arrested Bruce, even though they questioned him back in April. The Attorney General in charge of the investigation in Mexico told us that he finds Bruce's disappearance, quote, suspicious, and noted that this past Friday the state received key DNA evidence from Monica's body, which could enable them to make an arrest in a matter of days. For Good Morning America, Neil Karlinski, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And we're joined now by former Los Angeles County Prosecutor Robin Sachs and criminal defense attorney Roy Black. Good morning to you both, and thanks for being here. Robin, I'd like to start with you, if I may. Mexican authorities had asked Beresford-Redmond to stay in Mexico, saying, quote, it would be a very delicate and serious matter if he returned to the United States. But bottom line, they couldn't stop him.
They certainly weren't able to stop him via legal obligation, but his lack of presence in Mexico and having no one having spot him here in Los Angeles County yet certainly goes to show consciousness of guilt.
Roy, how did he get back into the United States without his passport? He surrendered that to Mexican authorities earlier.
Well, as you know, it's probably not that difficult getting across the Mexican-American border. But let's take a look at this. It certainly doesn't look good that he didn't stay in Mexico, but when you know the Mexican police with their history of extortion, bribery, blackmail, murder, covering up crimes, working for drug dealers, you know, a sane person probably wouldn't want to hang around.
Robin, it does sound like it's been 8 weeks and no charges have been filed. Mexican authorities may be having some trouble with this case.
And you just notice how she said it has been 8 weeks since the murder of Monica and no charges were filed yet, right? And actually for a Daejhanae warrant came out faster than in this case.
Well, it is pretty atrocious that charges haven't been filed. Frankly, if it was here in the United States with the requirement of probable cause, there has been ample probable cause. I mean, here you have witnesses who saw fighting that was going on. We have strangulation. We have no other suspects. We don't show that Monica left the property. And we know that she was murdered on the property and there was ruckus and noise there. Who else was it? It is atrocious that the charges haven't been fired. And now with this new element, we're going to see not only a criminal battle, but we're going to see an extradition battle coming down along the way too.
That's absolutely correct. There is an extradition treaty between Mexico and the United States. Roy, how does that work?
Well, Mexico will have to petition the State Department, who will then go to the authorities in Los Angeles, have them arrested. There'll be hearings in federal court to determine whether or not there's sufficient evidence under the treaty to send them back to Mexico. There's certainly a lot of circumstantial evidence here, but what direct evidence is there that he committed the murder? So there's still that missing link.
Robin, the victim's sisters in this case have asked the FBI to join this investigation. The FBI has offered its assistance. Given the fact that this is an American citizen, the main suspect in this murder, and an American citizen, the victim in this murder, why isn't the Mexican government accepting this aid, given the fact that the investigation seems to be stalled?
Well, one can only speculate as to why the Mexican government is not accepting in open arms, frankly, the help of the FBI, considering how much scrutiny there already is in this case. However, it is up to Mexico to be able to say, here, come on in. And we have seen other cases, we look at the Natalie Holloway case where other countries have been slow to the punch to take assistance from the FBI.
Bruce Beresford-Redmond does have a very legitimate motive for wanting to return home to California, and that would be his two young children. The couple had a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. They have been staying with his parents, and there's a hearing going on this week for temporary custody because the victim's sisters, the children's aunts, are fighting to get custody of the kids. At this point, since he has not been arrested or formally charged with a crime, doesn't he have every right as a father to have his children?
Oh, I think there's no doubt about that. Where's the direct evidence that he has committed a crime and that he is not able to be a proper parent? I mean, they'd have to have some more evidence than him being a mere suspect in this crime.
Robin?
Well, actually, if you look at the family court and the probate court, you don't have the same standard of proof as you do in the criminal courts of beyond a reasonable doubt. You can't inherit under the Slayer statute someone who you feloniously took from or actually intended to kill. So the standard of proof is a lot lower, and his position as sole suspect could actually affect his ability to get custody.
And
yeah, but doesn't there have to be some evidence, though? I mean, we have all the suspicion, that they were having all these problems and there was yelling and what have you, but still, there's nothing to show this man committed the crime. I don't think we can presume him guilty.
Evidence of domestic violence, in other words, is not evidence of murder.
Well, they didn't prove domestic violence either. They had an argument and people heard loud voices, but that's the sole evidence that we've heard so far.
And finally, Roy, Mexican authorities were very honest about wanting to wait until the DNA evidence came in before they took any further steps. That evidence has now come in fact, just within the last couple of days. What were they waiting for, and why might this be important to forwarding the case?
Well, we don't really know that because since obviously he's very close to his wife, it would not be surprising to have his DNA on her body. However, you'd want to see if there's any blood or anything under her fingernails or things like that that might show a fight between the two of them. I think that would be pretty damning evidence if they came up with that.
All right. Roy Black, Robin Sachs, thank you so much this morning for joining us with the latest twist in this very, very unusual case.
Thank you.
Okay, when they were going back and forth, that actually shows how Daejhanae's defense team will actually behave. They will actually go back and forth and try to poke holes into the case and say, well, this is only circumstantial evidence, and they will go against everything, like be opposition. So that's why it's important to have strong evidence. But also with this case, Bruce Redman, it was more than just the two teenagers downstairs below them hearing loud screaming. He had scratches on him. Also, his key card, he used his key card to go back and forth in and out of the room during the time she was murdered, like numerous times, like almost a dozen times. It was a lot of evidence to say that he was guilty. But of course, there's always going to be opposition. And this was actually early on. And he was actually speaking on this before he actually got all the forensic evidence and everything that was available.
Major developments right now in that Mexico murder case. Police reportedly are just hours away from making an arrest in the murder of Monica Barisford-Redmond. We have some new information from the victim's family about her husband and the moments after she was reported missing. KCAL 9's Randy Page is live in Santa Monica. He has the very latest. Randy?
That's right. Powerful moments today as Monica Barisford-Redmond's two sisters and their attorney speak for the first time since the murder of their sister, and they had a lot to say. They were actually quite
not
powerful.
Having really the opportunity to grieve. That's what we want, justice.
Two sisters face news cameras for the first time together 2 weeks after the murder of their baby sister.
I am bleeding inside because I can't even imagine that I'm not going to have her with me.
The body of Monica Barisford-Redmond was found in a septic tank at the Hotel Moon Palace in Cancun on April 8th. She had apparently been strangled. The Brazilian wife and mother had gone to Mexico on vacation with her husband, television producer Bruce Beresford-Redman, and children to try and patch up a failing marriage.
He was having a long-term affair with another woman, and things were really bubbling. And this trip was an attempt that my sister had to bring the family together.
Today, new details are beginning to emerge about that fatal trip. First, who planned the trip to Cancun?
He did. And my sister usually plans all the trips, and she does all the arrangements because she's the one that does everything for the family, pretty much. And but this time he planned the trip, and he paid for it.
Jean Burgos says she received a chilling call 2 days before Monica's body was found. Bruce Beresford-Redmond was calling from Cancun, saying Monica was missing.
And I asked, what? How come she's missing? And he said, well, she went out yesterday morning to town to do some shopping, and she never came back. And I say, what? Where are the kids? Oh, the kids are with me. My sister will never leave the kids with him for a whole day, ever. My sister was so protective of the kids, and she knew how to take care of them. And I said, what about, did you call her? Oh, no, she left her cell phone here. What? Her cell phone there? And when did you realize she was missing? Oh, I went to bed and I slept. When I woke up the next morning, she hasn't returned. And I say, how come? How come you go to bed to sleep when your wife is out there? And you know? And after that, actually, that was the worst day of my life, because when my sister was found dead, I already knew that she was dead, because my sister would never do something like that.
Now, Gina and Carla Burgos would not say specifically who they believe killed their sister, but their attorney has made it clear Bruce Beresford-Redmond, Monica's husband, is clearly the prime suspect, and their attorney says she believes we will hear some important developments from Mexico within the next 24 hours. Live in Santa Monica, Randy Page, KCAL 9 News.
A former producer of the television show Survivor, who's been at the center of a homicide investigation in Mexico, is back in the U.S. That's according to the man's attorney, who says that Bruce Beresford-Redmond, who you see wearing the checkered shorts in the background, has returned to Los Angeles to be with his children and attend to family and personal matters. Police in Mexico have described Beresford-Redmond as a suspect in the death of his wife Monica at this exclusive Mexican resort. Her body was found stuffed in a sewer there in early April. Mexican officials had previously said they had confiscated Beresford-Redmond's passport, and he was barred from leaving the country. Now, however, the region's attorney general says there was no court order barring him from leaving Mexico. Family members of the victim have criticized Mexican investigators, saying it has taken them too long to make an arrest. And Beresford-Redmond's departure from Mexico makes it unclear how the investigation will move forward. Investigators have said the victim's body showed signs of asphyxiation and evidence of a heavy blow to the right temple. Ross Simpson, The Associated Press.
And Monica Beresford.
So basically, even though he was told not to leave Mexico, he actually left Mexico and then went back to California to live with his two children and his parents, both his parents. And then later on, he actually let the mistress move in, so he continued on with his affair.
Redmond sisters, Carla and Gianni Burgos, join us now, along with their family's attorney, Allison Treasel. Ladies, good morning, and thank you for joining me.
Good morning.
Carla and Gianni, now that Bruce is back in the States, and we've learned that Mexican authorities will not bring first-degree murder charges against him, at least not on Monday, are you still convinced, Gianni, that he's responsible for your sister's death?
Well, every evidence that we have points to him, so it makes me believe that he is connected to the murder of my sister.
And what is the latest, Gianni, that you're hearing from Mexican authorities about the investigation? Do they still believe that?
I believe so. I feel that they're strongly bringing a position towards it. They are not being conclusive in anything, but they are giving me more evidence that that it's going to happen. So.
How do you feel, Carla, about your brother-in-law being back in the United States?
Well, it concerns me because of the children.
Are you saying that you're concerned that he may take the kids?
Yes.
And I feel the concern as well is that he left Mexico without the authorization. His passport was there. He was still a person of interest. My sister's murder hasn't been solved, and it shows that he really doesn't care. It's not important for him to be part of the investigation and to present himself to the Ministerio Público in order for that to get solved. So this is also a concern, because if it was my husband, I wouldn't want to leave the country and do what the authorities told me not to do.
And Maggie, they asked him to remain because they wanted to question him. They wanted to question him as long ago as April the 12th, and he has not made himself available for questioning. And that concerns us, and it makes us very suspicious.
So what would you like authorities to do, either American or Mexican, Allison?
Well, we'd like some action. It's been nearly 2 months. We believe that they know the who, they know the how, and they know the why, and there should be some closure. This family has agonized over this. This is their sister, and what a horrible thing to have happened. And they want some answers.
Gianni, I'll give you the last word. I know that you're having a memorial service for Monica. What would you like everyone to remember about her?
I want everybody to remember that my sister was about love, was about happiness, was about being a giving person, friend, a sister, a daughter. She was the complete package, and her life was cut short. We are there to celebrate her life, her existence, everything that she brought into our lives. We are there to bring all that happiness, all that celebration together. It's not going to be about crying. It's going to be about grieving, but celebrating her life with music, with laughter, and bringing that energy that she brought into our lives alive again. Even though she's not present in body, she will be present in spirit, and that's our intention.
Sister said it had been 2 months and nothing. At that point, they actually didn't even have an arrest warrant from Mexico or anything yet. And secondly, that he had returned home to be with the children, and he had a life insurance policy put out on the children and Monica like a month before his trip. So obviously they were concerned for the children's safety, just like right now, a lot of people are like, why are they murderers? Are they covered up a murder and they're still allowed to go to work, or they're still allowed to be out here with everyone else? Aren't people concerned about what they're doing? So there's a good comparison with that as well.
Gianni and Carla Burgos, we're so sorry for your loss, and thank you again for your time. Allison Treasel, thank you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot happens early on The Early Show, weekday mornings on CBS.
A judge in Mexico has issued a warrant for the arrest of former Survivor producer Bruce Beresford-Redmond, suspected in the killing of his wife. Early Show national correspondent Hattie Kaufman reports.
On Monday near Los Angeles, Bruce Beresford-Redmond was once again in his backyard, enjoying time with his kids. But scenes like this may not last much longer. Earlier in the day, a prosecutor in Mexico confirmed to CBS News that an arrest warrant has been issued for Beresford-Redmond. He's accused of murdering his wife Monica 2 months ago while they were at this resort in Cancun.
There would certainly be an extradition proceeding, and we would be fighting extradition.
Late Monday, Barisford-Redmond, through his attorney, released this statement. I am innocent. My children have had one parent taken from them by a senseless act of violence. I implore the Mexican authorities not to take their remaining parent by a miscarriage of justice. Monday night, the Burgos family fired back with their own statement, leaving no doubt about their feelings toward Barisford-Redmond. It has been 56 days since Monica was brutally murdered. At no point during that time did he reach out to the Burgos family to express sympathy. The only thing that Bruce Beresford-Redmond has done since the day Monica went missing was to request and pay for her immediate cremation. But some who attended a memorial for Monica on Sunday say they have no doubt who is responsible.
Her husband killed her. It's clear. It's very clear.
Beresford-Redmond's attorney says his client did not flee from justice, even though Mexican authorities seized his passport.
Unless someone is arrested or is ordered by a judge in Mexico to remain, they are free to leave, and he did so.
Now it appears he'll be forced to return, this time as a murder suspect. Hattie Kaufman, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Okay, shortly after the sisters did that one interview around the 2-month mark, finally, Mexico issued an arrest warrant. And remember, that same thing happened with the Daejhanae, right? That it happened October 29th, and then on November 23rd, it wasn't but anyways, Daejhanae has an arrest warrant too. So just like Bruce, Daejhanae also had an arrest warrant and still has one now. But as you'll see as we go on, that even with an arrest warrant in Mexico, for the next 7 months, Bruce still lived as a free man in the United States. Nothing happened to him at all during those 7 months in the United States, even though he had a warrant. So what we can expect with Daejhanae is kind of the same thing, that she has an arrest warrant in Mexico, but until the investigation is complete and there's sufficient evidence under the treaty laws, sufficient evidence, not just circumstantial, or sufficient evidence has to be gathered. And then, so yeah, extradition can take a long time. But there's one thing that the Mexico did in this case, which I'll go over later, that kind of sped things up to where he'll get arrested before extradition was complete. And I'll discuss that later.
Isn't this the other guy?
I don't know. Hi there, Bruce. Enjoy your day today. All right. I hope you have fun.
Thank you.
Welcome. Have a good day. We are guessing Six Flags and Zoo. We don't know which one.
Have fun today, man.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
So as you can see, even though he had a warrant for his arrest in Mexico, he still went about his life, going to theme parks, trying to put on this like perfect dad image, going out in public, even though he had a life insurance on his kids and months before he killed his wife, right? But he's going out to theme parks, going to different places. He's still at home with both parents, has his mistress. So he's basically just went on with his life. That warrant in Mexico was nothing. It was like nothing. It didn't stop anything for him, right? He just kept living his life. Just like Daejhanae is out here just living her life. She was still going, like working at Blue Rhino. She was still doing everything she wanted to do out here as a free person, even though she has a warrant in Mexico. So this is a good like comparison, right? Also, did y'all pick up on that he hurried up and cremated her and buried her, right? He had a lot of money at the time, so he could have had like a regular funeral service, but he cremated her, right? And he like hurried up and did it.
Are you famous?
Oh, that's a pretty picture. That's 18!
How was the zoo today?
Fun, thank you.
It felt good to get away and just see the animals.
All right. Have a safe drive. Thank you. You too. Thanks.
Former reality show producer Bruce Beresford-Redmond, who remains in jail this morning and appears ready to fight extradition charges to Mexico. That is where authorities have charged him with killing his wife while on vacation there in April. In a moment, we'll speak with the sisters of Monica Burgos. But first, Mike Von Fremd has more on the case and the new details that are just now coming out.
It has been 7 agonizing months since Monica Beresford-Redmond's naked body was found in a septic tank at a Mexican resort. Her heartbroken family has been demanding justice. Husband Bruce Redman, a former TV producer for the show Survivor, is now in federal court in Los Angeles.
This is just the beginning, and we are here ready to keep on fighting for the justice for my sister.
In court documents, the staff at the Cancun hotel says concerned guests reported screams, crying for help, and extremely loud banging. It sounded like a woman in extreme distress. The desperate calls for help were coming from the Redmonds' room, a room that investigators say has a view of the sewage tank in which Monica's body was found. Hotel records show an electronic key was used 9 times between midnight and 7 a.m. when Monica was reported missing. Prosecutors say the family nanny overheard the couple having a big fight the night before they left for the Mexican vacation. The nanny says she heard the husband say he needed to buy a life insurance policy for his wife and himself. Bruce Redman's attorney says his client is innocent.
There were 2 other homicides at that same hotel, so we think that the police certainly should have looked for other suspects before they arrested our client.
While the former TV producer waits for trial, the court has awarded custody of his 5-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son to his parents. For Good Morning America, Mike Von Fremd, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And joining me now are Monica's sisters, Carla and Daejhanae Burgos, as well as their lawyer, Allison Treasel. Good morning, everyone. Good to have you here. And I'd like to start with you, Daejhanae. From the moment your sister was found murdered in Mexico, you have been unwavering in your quest for justice. Do you feel like with this filing by the Mexican government this week, you're finally getting it?
Yeah, I feel it's a great beginning. It's a moment that we waited for a long time, and it's finally paying off for all the hard work that we have done.
This 11-page filing by the Mexican government has lots of pretty damning information concerning your brother-in-law, that witnesses heard a woman screaming in your sister and brother-in-law's room, that there were traces of blood found in that room, that the key card was used between midnight and 7 a.m. Did you know any of this information before it came out in this filing?
Some of it, yes. I did know, yes.
And what was your reaction to the rest of it that you learned?
Yeah, it's just like, we've been things are happening and a lot of other things are unfolding along with that, and then we just get more certain of everything that has happened at the night, and at the same time that it helps us on the case. It's very it really destroys us. It really puts us in a very stressful and difficult position because it's very sad.
And Elizabeth, if I can say, I read the complaint to them, and we knew a lot of information going into it, but it was gruesome, and it was really chilling to hear the details and to read it on paper. It was awful for all of us.
Well, when you read those details, Allison, it really tells a tale, spells out a tale of not just a terrible fight and a murder that might have happened, but also of an intense effort at cover-up that took it over 24 hours.
From the scratches and the screams and the housekeeper, there's so much damning evidence here that we believe, that the Mexican authorities really did a very good job putting a case against Bruce together.
Allison, Bruce's lawyer is fighting extradition back to Mexico. How long might this fight drag out?
It'll be a long haul. I am certain that they will fight at every turn. But for us, the fact that he is in custody is really where we think he should be, and we're ready, and we're willing to continue to fight this until the very end to get justice for Monica.
Your sister and brother-in-law had two small children together, a little boy and a little girl. How are the two children doing? Do you see them?
Yes, we do see them. We have a scheduled visitation that we have, very happily going and spending time with them, and yes, we do see them.
It must be soothing for them to see their aunts. How are they holding up in the face of all this terrible tragedy?
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for them. It's very difficult for us. But at the time that we are together, we try to make a happy and fun time for them. No manipulation, nothing that really takes them out of their comfort zone as just being a kid and having fun. And I think we do a great job on that. And they enjoy very much spending time with us.
And do you have interaction with Bruce as a result of these visits with the children?
No, I don't.
And I think that's probably over now that he's in custody.
Okay, so basically, he killed his wife in April, and for 7 months, he killed his wife in April, and a couple months after that, they had a warrant for his arrest. But then for 7 months, he lived as a free man in the United States with his two children, his parents, and even his mistress. And then finally, in November of 2010, after living 7 months as a free man, he was actually arrested and put into custody. However, keep in mind that when he was arrested, he was actually it was under a provisional arrest. He wasn't extradited in 7 months. He was just detained, or should I say, under a provisional arrest. Arrested, provisional arrest. And the thing is, Mexico actually filed that. They actually filed a provisional arrest request, and they said that he was like a flight risk, right? So basically, that's why I reached out to Mexico recently, because I'm like, have y'all actually done the same thing, like the same process of filing this provisional request, like for her arrest, right? Because she actually can be proven as a flight risk, just like Bruce, because it's like the same thing. They both left Mexico. They both basically, I discussed this in my last video, but pretty much if you actually look at my last video and the documents, they can actually kind of prove the same things, like she's untrustworthy and she's a flight risk. And by that, she can actually, she's not at the last house she was at, like the last residence she put on her, on the document, she's no longer at that address. She left Mexico, even though she was over there beating on Shanquella. What else she did? She's also has a lot of family members outside of the United States. Even if she can't leave the United States because of her passport, she can still go to other states within the United States, so she can still be a flight risk. There's ways that they can prove that and file for this provisional arrest, right? If Mexico did not file for a provisional arrest, then Bruce would have actually been a free man for way longer. The only reason he was arrested early on, like after 7 months, is because they filed for that provisional arrest. And that's why the sisters were talking about the documents that were filed.
Good luck in the ongoing court battles, and all our best to your family through this very trying time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
This morning, we have an update on Bruce Beresford-Redmond, a former producer on Survivor who's accused of killing his wife in Cancun, Mexico.
A judge in Los Angeles is saying no to his latest appeal, meaning he soon could be formally charged with murder. Bill Whitaker has more.
He has been the sole suspect in the death of his wife, Monica. And late Wednesday, a federal judge ruled that Bruce Beresford-Redmond should be sent back to Mexico to stand trial, citing pages upon pages of competent evidence that he committed the crime. A representative for his defense team released this statement to CBS News. A federal judge has denied their challenge to the extradition order. They are weighing their options with Mr. Beresford-Redmond regarding the future. In 2010, Monica Beresford-Redmond was found beaten, strangled, and dumped in a septic tank at this Cancun resort on what would have been her 42nd birthday. In the days before her death, hotel guests saw the couple arguing and heard screaming from their room. Mexican authorities zeroed in on Bruce and confiscated his passport, but he fled the country, returning to his young children in California. In issuing his ruling, Judge Philip Gutierrez wrote, "All of this evidence points to homicide committed by the fugitive." Beresford-Redmond has been held in a Los Angeles jail without bail for the past year. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Okay, so let me go ahead and catch you all up. On April 8th, his wife was found dead, okay? So he already had killed her before then. So April 8th, 2010, and then he was, Mexico issued an arrest warrant on May 31st, 2010. So almost 2 months later, they had issued an arrest warrant. And then 7 months, for 7 months, he lived as a free man in the United States, doing whatever he pleased with his children and parents, as I explained, and even mistress. And then finally, after 7 months of being a free man, nothing happening to him, even though he had an arrest warrant in Mexico. On November 16, 2010, he was arrested under a provisional arrest in California. He wasn't extradited. He was just arrested under provisional arrest pending extradition. And then on July 12, 2011, a year and 3 months after he murdered his wife, he was finally extradited. So extradition in this case actually took a year and 3 months. However, he also fought the extradition, like he fought it. He appealed it and he tried to fight it. So someone can actually still fight the extradition, but he was still under arrest, so he wasn't really like a free man when he was fighting it. So then in February 8th in 2012, he was finally extradited to Mexico. So it took like 2 years, almost 2 years for him to actually be sent back to Mexico. However, it only took 7 months for him to be arrested because he was arrested on a provisional arrest, okay? But Daejhanae doesn't have a provisional arrest that I see yet. They might file one, I don't know. But if they do file one, it will speed things up for her being arrested. Okay, so. Okay, this is him after he was extradited. So he's finally in Mexico. Finally in Mexico. And this is like almost 2 years later in February 2012. So he killed his wife in April 2010. He didn't ride back into Mexico until February 2012, almost 2 years later, right? But the good news is that he spent a good deal of time in jail while he was like pending his extradition. So what we need Mexico to do is actually filed for a provisional arrest for Daejhanae, so she'll be in jail until she's extradited, right? We don't want her free until she's extradited. We want her in jail until she's extradited, because extradition can take a long, long time. So is it possible for Daejhanae to get a provisional arrest? That's the question. So they can hold her until she's extradited. Because Bruce was a free man. I'm telling you, he was a free man until that provisional arrest happened. And then he was arrested in November and then healed until he was extradited. So this is him in Mexico, arriving there. And this is almost 2 years later. Family and everyone wanted justice for her, and then finally it took 2 years, and then he was extradited. But it only took 7 months for him to be behind bars, so that would be some relief, right? If she can just be behind bars, and then we can wait for extradition as long as she's behind bars while we wait, right? Imagine us waiting for a long, long time for sufficient evidence.
Bruce Beresford-Redmond is speaking out for the first time since he was sent back to Mexico to face charges that he murdered his wife. A CBS News interview with the former TV producer will air exclusively tomorrow night on 48 Hours Mystery. Before we see that part of the interview, Bill Whitaker has a look at the case against him.
This is the prison in Cancun, Mexico, where Bruce Beresford-Redmond has lived since his extradition from the U.S. 2.5 weeks ago. The former Survivor producer is accused of the 2010 murder of his wife, Monica. They were vacationing at this Cancun resort when her body was found in a septic tank, the victim of apparent strangulation.
It's good that he's going to really listen to the charges and answer for it.
Monica's family has publicly pointed the finger at Barisford-Redmond, especially after he defied Mexican authorities, fled to the U.S., and went about his life as he fought extradition. Arrested as a flight risk, he spent 15 months in a Los Angeles jail before being returned to Mexico for trial.
He had everything in life. He was a successful man. So why he would think this was a solution?
Prosecutors contend Barisford-Redmond had reason to kill his wife. He was having an affair, they say, wanted sole custody of his 2 children. There was insurance money to collect. Barisford-Redmond maintains his innocence. No trial date has been set. For CBS This Morning, I'm Bill Whitaker in Los Angeles.
In February, 48 Hours Mystery went inside a Mexican prison and interviewed former reality television producer Bruce Beresford-Redmond. He was just about to go on trial for the murder of his wife in Cancun, Mexico.
From what I saw, Tribal was that she said, do you know if the U.S. had any influence in Mexico issuing a provisional arrest, or was it solely on Mexican authorities? And yeah, I'd assume that's right. It was mostly for what I saw from the documents. Now, it's 438 pages. Did I go through all 438 pages? No, but I did glance over the provisional arrest portion of it. And it looks like it was just Mexico. And her sister actually went over there to Mexico and helped with some kind of provisional arrest and identifying him, like some kind of procedure or process that actually Nancy Grace actually mentioned some kind of thing, but they could just identify the person or something like that. Anyways, a provisional arrest was filed, and that was used to arrest him before he was extradited. So once he was arrested, he wasn't extradited until way later. Like, he was arrested in November 2010. He wasn't extradited until maybe 15 months later or so, I think they said. In 2012. So yeah, that actually sped up the process of him being arrested. If not for that provisional arrest, he would have been a free man for almost 2 years, and even though he had a warrant in Mexico. Okay, so now the next part is actually showing him inside of a Mexican prison, and I actually put this in there just so everyone can really see, like, from start to finish, from him first murdering his wife until he is actually released. Okay, so I'm going through the whole process.
Now, 7 months later, Beresford-Redmond talks again to 48 Hours correspondent Troy Roberts about the case that now seems to be falling apart in court.
If I'm found guilty, I'm facing 30 years in Mexican prison.
In the nearly 7 months of Bruce Beresford-Redmond's murder trial, the government's theory of how his wife Monica died has never wavered. Prosecutors believe the couple argued violently on the morning of April 5th, 2010. Then he suffocated her in the hotel room they shared with their 2 small children. Prosecutors claim he kept her dead body there until he could hide it in the sewer that evening. Monica's sister, Carla Burgos, says Bruce is right where he belongs.
If he really killed my sister, which it looks like he did, I want him in jail.
I'm innocent. I did not kill my wife. I had nothing to do with her death.
How are you holding up? In a new interview with 48 Hours, Barisford-Redmond says prosecutors have totally failed to prove their case.
It's very hard for me to understand why I'm still in jail. I've been accused of a really, really horrible crime, and I would like very much to have the chance to exonerate myself.
He may well succeed. Much of the physical evidence in the case has been lost or contaminated, and key government witnesses have contradicted the prosecution's case. The coroner, for instance, pinpoints Monica's death at 11:40 p.m. Monday night, but prosecutors insist she died 18 hours earlier.
His testimony, to me, obliterates their entire theory.
Okay, and also you notice a pattern here, right? There's discrepancy about the time of death. There's problems with evidence, and there's other things like that going on, right?
And when the state's criminologist takes the stand, incredibly, he testifies he can find no link between Bruce and Monica's murder.
I am looking around, waiting for someone to stand up and say, okay, well, we got the wrong guy, and, let's get him the hell out of there. And that doesn't happen.
Determined to press on with a circumstantial case, the chief prosecutor told 48 Hours, "We want to punish him. We have to work with what we have." He said there is other evidence against Bruce, but also admitted he is concerned about upholding Cancun's reputation as a tourist mecca.
It could take forever.
Bruce's lawyer, Jaime Cancino, interviewed via Skype from Mexico, says his client plans to take the stand.
He's going to be free. At the end of the day, he's going to be free. I can assure you that.
The fact that I'm innocent is going to, at some point, get me out.
And this summer, he sent a message to his children.
Hopefully I'm coming home soon. I'm really, really proud of both of you. I miss you guys, and I love you. Bye, guys.
Troy Roberts is here. First question, is this anything like a trial in an American court?
Absolutely not. The Mexican criminal justice system is very different from what we're familiar with. The judge hears testimony when his schedule allows, so the proceedings stop and start and lurch forward and go back, and it's very possible that weeks will go by without anything happening. So this could go on for a very, very long time. It's very odd.
What's going to happen?
I wish I could tell you if I had a crystal ball.
Yeah.
This is not a jury trial. One judge is listening to all the testimony, weighing all the evidence. What we have right now, it does look like there's a very strong case against Bruce Beresford-Redmond, but this is a very high-profile case, and it's very possible that outside pressures could influence the outcome.
Like?
Well, I mean, I believe it's a political case now. It's gotten so much attention in that country, and I don't have any evidence to support this, but it's very possible that outside pressures from the government possibly could influence the outcome.
Great to see you. Thanks, Troy.
Thank you.
Troy Roberts, you can see his full report on 48 Hours Mystery Fatal Episode, The Producer's Story. That's tomorrow night at 10, 9 Central, right here on CBS.
Every day in here, the first question that you ask is, what can I do today that will help me get home? Sadly.
Okay, in this clip, he was found guilty and sentenced to years. But as you'll see later on, he only served 7.5 years. So actually right now, he's actually a free man again. So he only served 7.5 years in this prison. But if you actually look at how he lived in that prison, I think most people would probably want, unless things have changed since then, which I highly doubt. I doubt that most people will actually want to be in Mexican prison compared to United States prison, but I'll show you. Wait, let me go back. So I definitely wanted to show him in the prison as well.
9 Central, right here on CBS.
Every day in here, the first question that you ask is, what can I do today that will help me get home? Sadly, with the pace of Mexican justice, nearly every day the answer to that question is nothing. I have adapted to survive here, but I don't want to have a prisoner's mentality. I don't want to have the harshness and the hardness and the armor that I need in here to keep myself safe and sane and to survive. I want to be more the person that I was and the person that I have been trying to protect inside throughout all this. And that takes a surprising amount of effort.
I've been asked a couple times, has this experience changed you? And it's changed my perspective and it's changed my priorities enormously. Assuming that I get out and am able to return to my family, I will value time with them much, much more highly than I used to. I miss the little moments so much. I remember when I used to come home, Alec, who was really small, he used to come and he would sit down right next to me. And he was just so happy to just be next to me and just be there with me. And God, it was the most amazing feeling. And I should have balanced my priorities better. I thought nothing of staying really late at work to get something done. And I probably could have done it tomorrow and spent more time with Alec and Camilla and Monica. And I didn't, and I should have.
It is very, very depressing and lonely and just an awful place to be. Whether or not I am a survivor, I think remains to be seen.
Well, Bruce Beresford-Redmond, the man right here, the former reality TV show producer convicted of killing his wife in Mexico, is back home here in Southern California. NBC4's Angie Crouch live for us in Gardena, getting reaction now from his neighbors. Angie.
Yeah, neighbors say they were quite surprised to see Bruce Beresford-Redmond return to his home here in Gardena in June after serving time in a Mexican prison after serving a little over half of his 12-year prison sentence for killing his wife. Bruce Beresford-Redmond is now a free man. The former TV producer for reality shows like Survivor was convicted of killing his wife Monica in 2010 at the Moon Palace Spa and Golf Resort just outside of Cancun, Mexico. Beresford-Redmond has always maintained his innocence. Longtime neighbor Maria Dahl expressed outrage that Beresford-Redmond served just 7 years of his 12-year sentence.
You would think in the old days, people got executed for doing stuff like that. I guess nowadays you get a second chance.
The case made international headlines in 2010 when Monica Beresford-Redmond's strangled body was found dumped in a septic tank at the high-end resort on what would have been her 42nd birthday. She was well known in Los Angeles as the owner of the now-closed Zabumba restaurant, a trendy Brazilian hotspot. La Palabra, the newspaper in Quintana Roo where the murder occurred, reports that Beresford-Redmond was released from Cerezo, one of Mexico's most dangerous prisons, June 20th, with credit for good behavior, and that he paid $2,000 in restitution. His 2 children, who were 5 and 7 at the time of the murder, have been living with Beresford-Redmond's parents at the home he shared with Monica before the murder. His father died last year, and neighbors say the home had fallen into disrepair, but was recently spruced up after his release.
It was all a mess, overgrown. And then they had people come in and cut the grass and the hedges and trim the trees and all that sort of thing.
We knocked on the door today, but nobody would speak with us. We also reached out to Monica Beresford-Redmond's sisters. Through their lawyer, they declined to comment on Bruce's release. We're live in Gardena. Angie Crouch, NBC4 News.
So yes, that's pretty much it from start to finish about Bruce Redman. And basically the key things that they have a lot in common basically from start to finish. Right now, Daejhanae seems to be in the part where Bruce was, where he was just like a free man walking while he had an arrest warrant in Mexico. That's what she's doing now. She has a warrant in Mexico, but she's still out here free, right? The only thing that can speed up her arrest right now is a provisional arrest pending extradition. that has to actually be filed by Mexico as a request, right? A provisional arrest warrant. If not, then we would just have to wait until she's extradited, and the United States has to find sufficient evidence for the extradition under the treaty laws for her to be extradited. Yeah. And in my last live, I actually posted a full document. So if you actually want to read a 438-page document about Bruce Redman, then feel free to do so. But there's also a wiki article that goes over some details as well, which I'll post again right now. Okay, y'all have a great weekend. And for those just getting here, basically just catch the replay. The first part I discussed. Oh yeah, make sure you actually check, because in about half an hour I'm going to send an email out for everyone to email the attorney that I mentioned earlier in the live. And that attorney is in a department for where in Mexico where they are going over the Shanquella case, the same department where Daniel De La Rosa Anaya works. Okay, so I'll send out Daniel De La Rosa Anaya, the one that issued the arrest warrant, his email, Victor Castro, Ken Salazar, the embassy for Mexico, US, and then who else? So that's pretty much it. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also Dina King and Shirley Lewis, and that's for the Department of Justice. So basically, I'm going to send out two lists. The first list is the Mexican officials, and then an updated list for the United States officials to contact. So that way we can apply pressure to both the Mexican officials and US officials that are really working with this case. Because as you watched my last live, it was Shirley Lewis I was transferred to, and she's a coordinator for the United States Department of Justice is working with the Shanquella case. So that's definitely a good contact, okay? All right, y'all have a great weekend. Yes, something, yes. I smashed that like button on my way in. Have a nice weekend. Have a great weekend. I think you left a comment earlier. Let me go scroll up and see what it said. Yes, have a great night. Have a great night. Please hit the like button on your way out. Yes, make sure you hit the like button. Yes, there are a lot of similarities, and yeah. And it's process. Even for the United States, it seems like they don't just really hurry up and extradite. They really take their time to make sure that it's like sufficient evidence before they extradite. That's why I said I'm hoping for like a provisional arrest, because extradition, basically the person is a free person or a free man, free woman until extradition happens, right? They're free to roam the world. The only thing that can stop that freedom is a provisional arrest. So that needs to happen, right? So that's why I wrote I'm writing people about why hasn't there been a provisional arrest, because they can make a case. If you word things right and everything else, you can actually make a good case for why she is a flight risk, just like Bruce Redman, right? So that's the wiki article that goes over the case. Why does he keep using the word survivor? So annoying, because he used to work on that show. Seems really snarky to me, right? But I love seeing him in that prison. Loved it, loved it. I'm happy that he was miserable there. But I wish it had been longer. But also, before he arrived in Mexico, he had already been detained in the United States pending extradition. How could she have convulsions, paralyzed? Didn't the fight happen in the early a.m.? So I would actually like to call it a brutal attack. Happened in the morning time, and I do believe it happened in the morning based on Daejhanae still wearing her bonnet and pajama set, short set, and also that Shanquella was naked, her bed was turned, and she also had her hair tied in something that had actually became loose. And also, as far as that, I'm not a nurse or a doctor or a medical examiner or anything like that, but I do know that convulsions are involuntary movement. So it's not like you have to control those movements, or you move it. It's involuntary. And I have heard of some. It depends on what kind of ailment that someone has, of what part of their body can move, like during a seizure or something else. So a medical examiner will have to actually answer that, or a nurse or a doctor. So if anyone's out there who would like to answer that question, let us know. But I do know that convulsions are involuntary movements. So even when someone like is like dying, they can have those involuntary movements, and the person is already like gone or whatever, should I say, they can still have those involuntary movements. Like there's that one last final movement, and the person could not actually be moving themselves. So that would be a good question for a medical examiner, not me. Listening from the bushes. But what I do know is if someone says, if you say that someone has atlas luxation, which is on a death certificate, the symptoms of that, what happens if she has atlas luxation, which is on a death certificate, you are paralyzed. Okay, you are paralyzed. That's what the medical examiner say. So if everyone is out there saying, oh, well, what did she have? Well, she had atlas luxation. So you can't not forget that she had that. So with that comes symptoms. So if you have it, you have symptoms. And what are those symptoms? Those symptoms have to be there. So whenever it happened, if you say that it happened in the morning when she was brutally attacked, that means at that moment she had atlas luxation. So that means she would have the symptoms of atlas luxation in the morning. So if the medical examiner say, was it 2 or 3 now that said she would be paralyzed once she had that, right? Then that means that from that moment on, from that morning on, she had it. And that means she would be paralyzed. So I guess, good question though. Can somebody have convulsions if they're paralyzed? I think that they could have involuntary movements. So was she have involuntary movements and then they said it was that? We don't know. Because we weren't there, and can we really trust the doctors? Because the doctor will now try to cover her own ass, right? I don't know. So anyways, anyone out there knows? Only thing I've heard before was that when you're paralyzed, it depends on what caused your paralysis that will determine if you can have seizures or not. But don't quote me on that. Okay. Let's see. All right, y'all. Let me make sure there's no more comments before I say that. Yeah, so make sure that when you're emailing, just stress the point that has a provisional arrest been applied for? Has it been applied for? Yes or no? And if not, we need to pressure them to get one. Shoot, that's the only thing that helped Bruce to get arrested. I'm telling you, that's the only thing that Odyssey is missing. Yeah. Now, one thing I can say is that Gerardo is in contact with Daniel De La Rosa Naya, so I guess it won't be any harm to see if he can actually ask that question because he already has contact, right? And of course, I already gave emails and everything. I already have like a direct line and that can be useful. So let's see if Gerardo will actually pass this along, right? And he might actually be listening because he listens to some of my videos. Hey, hold on. So I'll send him a message not the same way because I'm the type of person I like to try anything. I'm sorry, I will. So I will be like, hey, can you send this to Daniel De La Rosa Naya? Ask him, has he already applied for this provisional arrest warrant? And I'll send information on how to do it. All right, has it been done? I'm just saying. I looked at this whole Bruce Redman case, and that's the only thing that got him arrested early before his extradition was complete, was that provisional arrest. So why isn't but that I don't know when, you know what? I need to actually check the date of when that was filed. Yeah, so I'm gonna check the date of when the provisional arrest warrant was request was done and see how long it took from that time to get arrested. Right. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and send it right now. I thought as soon as I end this live, I'll send it to him and see if he can actually forward that message over. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Yeah, we have to try. I definitely want her arrested. I'm sick of this. Y'all. Like, I want her ass arrested. All right, y'all. Hit the like button on your way out. Bye.